and good morning. Like yesterday, I did not know when I left the meditation room exactly what I would be talking about today. Yesterday I found it on Facebook, today I found it in emails. Actually, 2 emails from the same person on the same subject. So the title that I've selected today, about a half an hour ago, approximately, a little less than that, is 2012 Cosmic Law versus Canon Law. My blurb. All right, I admit it. I still do not completely grasp the battle raging on this planet between law forms. To me, cosmic law is simple. We are born free and equal, and our rights are unalienable. Canon law, on the other hand, claims to own our very souls through the Vatican. It is commercial or corporate law designed to enslave the human race. Because of our trained ignorance, it is difficult to claim our freedom and natural rights in a world that has brainwashed the population to bow down to external authority while failing to recognize our inherent greatness. And I don't even know where I come up with such blurbs, but there's my blurb, and that's all I have written. Although I do have the email over here on this computer. One of the 2 emails that I looked at this morning from one of my friends that I asked to review the paperwork that I've prepared for submitting to the court on Monday, tomorrow. And when I say submitting to the court, I do that by notary presentment. And I felt pretty good after a week working on that for actually over a week and getting it done, although actually putting it down in writing was this past week. And I felt good about it. But as always, I've been presenting these things to counsel, if you will, to other people who have a lot of wisdom and experience in these things, and asking them to take a look at it and give me their insight. And when the insight starts to flow back, I again become confused. When I finish preparing a document, or at least in my mind it's done, and I put that out to them as a draft, I usually feel quite elated and on top of the mountain. I mean, I have found the laws that I want to emphasize and present to the court and to the people that masquerade as judges and prosecutors and attorneys, etc. And I say masquerade because I don't honestly believe they understand the difference between cosmic law and canon law either. If they did, I don't think there would be all the confusion. But there is confusion. There's confusion in the human family. There's confusion in our governments. There's confusion in our religions. There's confusion in our courts. There's confusion in our corporations. There's confusion everywhere on planet Earth. Confusion is rampant. And we are at a crossroads in 2012 where all of these deeper issues are coming to the forefront, forcing us, as it were, to deal with the essentials of what it means to be human, of how we relate to one another as humans and as sentient beings, even in the cosmic sense, how we relate to the Creator God, how we create to beings from other planets, extraterrestrials, angelic realm, whatever you want to call it, how we even relate to other beings on our own planet that may not be seen, and ones that are seen in the animal kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, or plant world, how we relate to creatures of the sea and creatures of the land and creatures of the air. This whole idea of relating, how do we relate, is what is being foisted upon us to think about, to become aware of. How do we feel? And cosmic law and canon law, perhaps, are 2 phrases that put next to each other. We can see that there's a difference between these 2. One of them produces freedom and the other produces slavery and bondage. One produces knowledge and wisdom, and the other produces ignorance and indebtedness. And we are not born debtors, we are born creditors. We are born with all of our latent natural rights. And I say latent because we don't know we have them. They're there, but we forgot that they're there. We don't know who we are is the real issue. And when we don't know who we really are, we have trouble maneuvering in the world, in the complex world that we have created of mazes and tremendous obstacles that we have to go pass through and go around or jump over or blow up, or however we treat the obstacles. We've got to do something with all these things that seem to be in our path that prevent us from being happy, from being fulfilled, from living a life that is filled with all of the inherent things that we know we want and that we chase after, the pleasures, the pleasures, just the pleasures of life, of loving, of kindness, of happiness, being happy. Now, one of the things that I was sent is from Franco Collins, who's tremendous student of law, of canon law, and especially of canon law and how the law system works here. And I'm going to read just a little bit about what he says. He said what he's saying here he's talking to Rod. What's Rod's name? Rod Class. Okay, he's talking to Rod Class and he's being interviewed, and he says, when I go to court and I say to the judge, I do not recognize you, and I know what I am saying. What I am saying to the judge is that I am not granting you. I have not appointed you. I have not made you an agent. In this matter, you do not have my consent for you to be the arbitrator of this matter. So unless you produce to me the warrants of your authority, you have none. You are a tyrant. This is an unlawful act. You can make any claim you like. In the court of public records, you have no authority whatsoever. Now, I understand what Frank is saying here. He's saying, you are my equal. And unless you can produce documentation that shows that you are an actual authority, you don't have any authority over me. And I get that. I get that. But translating that attitude into something that they, who claim to be the authority, will actually listen to is a tremendous challenge. Now, one of the things that my friend who sent this to me, this and another email, he said, you're still going in as the defendant. And yes, I'm going in as the defendant, but in the very first paragraph, I'm stating my intent to file a Title 42, which in that respect, in that case, I would no longer be the defendant, I would be the plaintiff. Okay? And the plaintiff is in a superior position to the defendant. I understand that too. But when the state brings charges against us, as in my case, where they violated all of my rights and their oaths of office, etc., which I pointed out in my documentation, I need to answer, from my perspective, I need to answer them as it appears, because that's what I'm dealing with. That's what I'm dealing with. That's how it appears. They are claiming to be the authority. Now, I realize that it's a multi-step process. I already did one step of the process when I canceled all contracts and sent a notice of cancellation. Within 3 days of signing paperwork under duress in the prison, in the jail, because that's where everything was signed, and I was dealing with armed people, one of whom had just beat me up and damaged my arm and damaged my lower back with a violent act of aggression against me, and I consented all the rest of the way, and I needed to for them to recognize that, hey, I do not give my consent when I'm free. When I'm under duress, you can think you can contract with me, but you can't contract with me when you hold a superior position of threatening me. And they did, at that point in time, hold a superior position because they had the weapons. I was there in a pair of shorts, a pair of socks, and no shirt when I first was taken into the prison. My hands were cuffed behind my back, and then he switched it so that they were cuffed in front of me so that I could sit more comfortably in the chair while he filled out his paperwork. But I still had no shirt on, no shoes on, and I never did have a pair of shoes. They did bring a shirt, so I had a shirt from my own home, my own shirt to put on my back after the handcuffs were removed, after I sat there for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever it was while he did his paperwork. In any case, what I'm saying is there's hoops that I feel like I have to jump through. There's points that I have to make. And when I ask people for feedback, the feedback is good, but it's another hoop. It's another hoop that I have to jump through. It's another level of moving the case from being the defendant to being the plaintiff. And I understand that. And I'm sharing this with you, I guess. I mean, as I said, I didn't plan to share this. I mean, it's only been within the last 45 minutes now that I even knew what I was going to be talking about today. I didn't have a clue what I was going to be talking about. So it's all shooting from the hip, from my heart, just talking to you of the complexity that we're involved in reclaiming our natural rights and our God-given freedoms. We're reclaiming that. And it is working in 2012, although it's not working as fast as I'd like it to work. I would like the people that are the tyrants, the people that are the psychopaths that think that they have the right, that they have more rights than everybody else, that they're more equal than everybody else, that they can dominate everybody else. The playing field needs to be leveled. They need to be somehow brought down, and there needs to be equal power on both sides, and then superior power, because there's been unequal power throughout our history where the tyrants have ruled humanity. And it's been unequal power. And humanity has been asleep and allowed that to happen. Humanity gave its power away to other humans, and perhaps to extraterrestrials, who knows, who wanted to have dominion over human slaves. That's what the Vatican has done. Yes, it's our religion. It is a corporation, and it's the mother of Christianity as it exists on earth, although the Coptic Christian Church is actually older than Roman Catholicism. And it goes back, it predates Roman Catholicism. Roman Catholicism didn't happen until Constantine made it the state religion. That's when the Vatican was born. That's when Catholicism was born. That's when Christianity, pretty much as we've known it in our modern culture, was born. And it's non-Christian. Christianity is a non-Christian religion. And everybody, I don't care if you're a fundamentalist, evangelical, charismatic, Protestant, I don't care what you are or what label you have, you are deriving your thing from canon law. And it is not real law. It is not cosmic law, the law of equality. In cosmic law, all religions are equal. All people are equal. Everything is equal. Everything is on a level playing field. Nothing is superior to anything else. In heaven, we've created an image of heaven as if it's somehow the same as on earth, where there's a hierarchical structure of archangels and angels and cherubims and seraphims and all of these things that are on different levels. But truly, in cosmic reality, it's a level playing field. It's a level playing field. Every sentient being has a natural right to pursue happiness the way they see fit. Every one of them is equal in that respect. None is superior to the other. The only thing that makes any difference is what level of consciousness you are at, what level of awareness you have reached. If you've reached the level where you recognize that all beings are equal and that the only truth is love, that the only truth is telling the truth, the only truth is being humble, and in that humility is your natural greatness. When you get that the greatest is the servant of all, when you understand that, then you have reached a higher level of consciousness, and it's a superior level, but it doesn't give you authority over anyone else. It only makes you a servant of those that haven't gotten it yet, of those that don't see the bigger picture. I deal with this all the time. We all do. As we wake up, we look at people like I'm seeing in the Republic, where people that are still trying to misuse the law and make their religion superior to people of other religions. It's absolutely anathema. It's absolutely flies in the face of common sense and of cosmic law. But it's derived from the ignorance based on common law when we are competing with each other instead of serving one another. Do you understand what I'm saying and what Spirit is trying to say through me? We need to understand that cosmic law is the law of equality. It's the law of one. It's the one law of the one Creator that is all and in all, and everything is level. Everything is level. Canon law creates the law of superiority and inferiority. It creates the law of the master and the slave. It creates the law of the tyrant and the chattel property of the tyrant. Do you understand what we're dealing with here? And the challenge, the battle, is to get cosmic law to be recognized on earth so that we can have peace. That's what it's all about. So that we can have peace. And we can't have peace until there's justice. And we can't have justice until there's freedom. And we can't have freedom until we remember who we are. We are sons and daughters of the living God. And by living God, I do not mean any of the lesser gods that may have created us, and probably did create us, and meddle with our DNA as humans. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ultimate Creator, the very beginning, in whom all things and all beings live and move and have their essence. That from that Creator, that is the Creator and the creation, manifest in both, and it's all equal. It's all equal. I want to understand that, and I want Spirit to make it real in my life, and I want Spirit to make it real for you, so that we can move into our inheritance in 2012, that we can begin to actually see the fruit of our labor of waking up. And I think I'm going to call it a message for today. It's gone almost 19 minutes already. For not knowing what I was going to talk about, I think I did pretty well. It feels good. I feel like I had a little bit of an anointing. And I trust that you will take to heart some of the things that were said and let this Holy Spirit penetrate your walls and your barriers and your shields so that you can live free. And as long as you have shields and barriers and weapons of defense or offense, you are not free. The only thing that will set you free is the truth of knowing who you are. Namaste.